Hi, everyone. Welcome to the the.come.chat.podcast. I am your host, Steven. Welcome. So, this is episode 1 of the Come Chat podcast. And just give you all a quick introduction to what I want the story and the flow of the podcast to be. Is pretty much, I want to be able to sit down with people of the industry, any working industry, whether it be police, firefighters, soldiers, construction workers, warehousemen or women, nurses, fast food, restaurants, chefs, anybody who works. I want to be able to sit down with them and I want them to tell me the stories that they want to tell people. See, there's so many people who are out there to this day who are wonderful individuals who want to be able to tell their stories. And there's so many people who never have the chance to tell these stories because they just end up dying off with the stories, unfortunately. And I want to be able to sit down with these individuals and give them a chance to be able to tell the stories that they want to tell about, whether it be sad, happy, funny, mad, anything. I want to be able to give these people a chance to tell their story. And that's what I want the Come Chat podcast to be about. I want them to be able to come chat, tell me their stories, tell us their stories. I'll also throw in some of my own stories during the episodes or have dedicated solo episodes to my stories as well. At least for now, I'm not really used to the whole solo thing. I have a lot of previous recordings where I try to sit down by myself and talk about stories, and I've never been really good at just talking to myself. I'm really good with giving out advice, but if you have me on the spot to myself, I don't think I can. But I'm sure with some practice, I'm able to do everything. Me doing this right now, it's even hard for me. So I figure I would spend at least a few minutes each episode of the introduction talking about the updates of the podcast and updates on myself. For right now, I don't have a whole lot going on because this is episode 1, obviously. As for myself, everything's been pretty good. Not gonna lie. Moved back to my hometown probably a few months ago. After about 10 years, I lived in a relatively bigger sized city. Well, for the state where I'm at, it's a relatively bigger sized city. And now I'm back in sweet country land. I'm able to breathe again. I'm able to just enjoy the air, enjoy the atmosphere. It's nice to be able to walk down the street and not see someone pull their pants down right in front of everyone. I enjoy the country air, but good thing is I'm back home. I'm back in the country. I'm back around family, and I'm closer to my child. And that's the biggest thing for me, is I'm closer to my child. All right, so a few things before we get into the podcast, a few things I want to lay the groundwork for. 1, we will not be talking about any kind of political views in here. The only kind of political talk I will have in the show will be if the story of the person who I'm talking to, if some kind of political action were to happen and it affected this person and their story. That's the only kind of political talk on here. I will not be having any political propaganda, political pushing, nothing like that on here. I want this to be as neutral as I can. Next, no name dropping whatsoever. If the person who I'm sitting down and doing the podcast with wants to tell their stories, they would not be doxing anybody on this podcast. So I will give them a list of fake names that they can use as a reference. They will not be leaking any kind of confidential information here on the show either. So that is including the site where they either currently or have worked at, or other places individually. I also have a list of fake names that I can give these people to use, so they don't have to risk themselves getting into trouble about talking about their locations, their jobs, or whatnot. Alright, that's it for the introduction section. I'll send this off to myself. Steve, here you go. Hi everyone, this is Steven. I am part of the Come Chat podcast. I am the host. Just in case you didn't know, I have history with podcasting and other editing related stuff. Today I have with me a Mr. Travis Leonard. Travis, how's it going today?
It's going great. How about yourself there?
I'm going pretty good. So how's your day going today? Anything special going on?
So far it's been a slow day. It hasn't been too crazy in terms of it's a Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you work today?
Yep, yep,
Did everything go fine?
absolutely. It's just a regular Friday. Not too much going on in terms of activity. I do work security.
Okay.
Um, so you know, we're looking forward to the weekend. Is probably the best part there.
Okay.
So easy, easy day so far.
So Travis, what do you do at your job with security?
Well, I am a security guard. Um, and I have been a security guard for the last, I want to say, starting 2022. Um, so I would say going on 3 years at this point, definitely on 3 years. Uh, and primarily what I am responsible for is making sure the buildings are safe per se, um, making sure the tenants are happy, client is happy. Pretty much what I'm responsible for at my post there.
Okay. Are you do you work in the mornings or afternoons, nights? What do you do?
I primarily liked that, like, my schedules are based in the afternoon, and yeah, I'm not really a morning person in the mornings, but yeah, afternoon is my cup of tea.
Yeah, I don't blame you about the mornings. I've been in the mornings for the past 5 years myself, so I completely understand the mornings. Even though I've been on morning for 5 years, I still hate it. I've always been like a third shift bug myself, or what was I called? A night owl, I think it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So about your job too, what kind of environment do you work at? Do you do corporate? Do you do factory?
I've pretty much done it all right now. I'm currently just a regular building uh, in downtown. I wouldn't call it I would go call it an office building. But yeah, I've had my foot in all different. I've worked residential security. I worked warehouse security. Uh, bank security as well. Unarmed, of course, but yeah, I've had a little bit of experience with everything there. But yeah, I primarily work in a downtown. I would call it like probably office building type of setting.
Okay.
Uh,
So
yeah,
is it all one off? Is it all one business, or is it multiple businesses? I think it's called retail.
yeah, retail. I guess you call it that, and different types of stores nearby. There might have to be a variety of tenants in the building. You might have someone working as a lawyer in the building, or you might have you know like a news agency within the building. It's a variety.
Yeah.
Retail, as you would call it.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about this, your warehouse. You said you work security in a warehouse. How was that like for you?
Warehouse security. That was something. Let's say when I first got into security back in 2022. That's the first place, one of the first place I was sent to. Um, in terms of great people, first off, let's start there. Great people. Work with um, a lot of great people, such as Elijah and Erica over there, and yeah, just great, phenomenal people all around. The job itself was pretty easy. It's access control. That's simply what it was.
Okay.
You're there with the sign-in sheet. Make sure you're controlling people that are coming in and out of the building there, and yeah, just basically signing people in to the warehouse.
Okay. So did you do I believe warehouses have some sometimes they have guard booths at the front entrances. Did you do that, or were you inside the warehouse?
I've done both actually. So there's one where I was in a guard booth outside, dealing with semi truck drivers coming into the warehouse, delivering their freight, basically signing them in, um, you know, and assigning them a door, which, in my opinion, right, I think that was a little bit much for security guard because I would be out here with probably 27 bay doors where these truckers back into,
Mhm.
and have to assign a truck driver a door based on its availability, and no communication with the inside people at all to see how long it was taking. So I couldn't radio over to see, hey, which one bay doors have opened up. It was primarily me walking down there and checking for myself. I've also done the inside of the warehouse where I sit in a cage type of setting, a desk, and people knock on the door. I open the door for them, give me their driver's license, sign them in, time, and then someone, a representative from the warehouse, would come and meet them.
Was that like your first security gig, or did you like something else before that?
I would say that's the first one there, first introductory to security. Um, yeah, and definitely a lot to pick up quickly in a short amount of time, but um, it wasn't that hard to pick up. It was definitely a learning experience, but yeah, I enjoyed my time over there. Great people, great environment. Um, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you said access control, can you explain to me on your side of what you think the definition of access control is?
Gotcha. So what I would define access control as controlling the influx and outflux of people into a building, right? And that can be done through badge readers, right? Where you have a badge and you're able to, um, some IT department sets it up for you, and you're able to badge into a certain location of the building, or that can be done with a physical, sign-in sheet where a security officer like myself would sit there and, manage the table there and make sure the people that are coming in are going to the right spot, and they are where they're supposed to be, you know but it's overall a safety thing, so you just making sure people who have access to that place are able to get there. But yeah, I think for the average person, just controlling the influx and outflux of people in a specific building.
All right. Now, but what other security gigs you said? It was a warehouse, retail. And what was your
Banking.
banking? Okay.
A branch, I guess.
A branch. Okay. How was that like for you?
It was something, I'll tell you that. So you stand outside of a bank for almost a full shift, right? That's the post requirement. You're supposed to stand out of a specific bank, whatever it may be, or whatever it is. You're supposed to stand outside of there for the duration of the shift. Depending on where you work, they might be a little bit flexible. But for me, the reason I have probably a negative experience with this because it was probably 8 hours of just standing in one spot, walking around and pacing. And best believe I got my steps in through that. But yeah, it's you meet a lot of people outside of the bank, but it's very laborious here. Whether it's snowing, it's raining, you're supposed to man your post, right?
Yeah.
So don't leave. Maybe you can stand in the corridor a little bit just to get out of the weather condition. And one thing about my upper management at the time, I appreciate them very much, is that they would allow us to step into the bank just to get out of the sun for a little bit or get out of the rain for a little bit. So kudos to them. That's as far as like the rules, they're able to accommodate for your average person can't stand in one spot for 8 hours or pace back and forth. So just getting inside, getting some AC, maybe sitting down for a little bit, drinking some water, and then going back to your post there. But it was laborious, to say the least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just by me asking you about the bank, it definitely seems like you had pretty interesting stories with the bank. You have any interesting stories?
Yes. So one thing in particular, just a little bit of background about the bank, is that when you're in the bank, you get a variety of people. Based on your location, you get a variety of people that come into the bank.
Yeah.
Some of them could be, dressed up in suits, dressed up real nice, real spiffy. And then you might have people who are, might have a backpack on, a hoodie on, and then, and you have to be able to differentiate between, is this person shady, or is this person actually here to has an account with the bank, and they're able to, proceed as a client with the bank, right? So based on that, right, you have to be able to not discriminate against anybody that's coming in the bank, right?
Yeah.
So usually a telltale sign is that if the banker tells you to come over, that they need help, they need somebody escorted out the building, for whatever reason, that's your cue to go, right?
Yeah.
Just get them out the building. Maybe they're, being rude to the teller.
Do you ever have to like go in there and like physically remove them, or it's just like a just you kind of go over and kind of talk to them?
It's kind of talk to them. See, most people, once they hear that, hey, unfortunately they're asking you to leave the premises, majority of people will just leave, and on their way out they might cuss up a slur, or they cuss up a storm and just get out of there. But yeah, majority of people leave. I've and my whole time of security, I wouldn't say I had to get hands on with the person, or have to defend myself at all. Yeah, but majority of the time it's simply, hey, they're not wanting you on the property, you have to leave. And they might just cuss up a storm on the way out, or throw some tables around. But yeah.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, as you were saying about your story.
Yeah. When people come into the bank, you cannot discriminate. Like, whatever, if they look homeless, right? If they might have a bad smell to them, you cannot discriminate. They might have an account there, and it's the teller's job to be able to tell you, hey, we need this person out of here. Please get them out, right? Or
Yep.
they'll like give you a sign or something.
Yeah.
With that being said, there was one instance while I was working at a bank location where the person was not happy because they had insufficient funds in their account. So
I'd be pretty angry too.
yeah,
What do you mean I don't have all that money in my bank
exactly
account?
right. So they thought they had money in account. The bank is telling them something different, and at this point, they're just like, "I'm not leaving here without my money." Bottom line,
Yeah.
straightforward. And the banker's like, "Hey, let me talk to my manager." They go up the chain of command, and they're pretty much like, "Hey, you have to exit the bank today, right? Like, there's nothing we can do. Please take it up with corporate." At this point, it's we can't help you with that, right?
Yeah.
So I go over to them because I can see obviously it's getting a little bit rowdy over there. So people are yelling. I try to talk to them like, "Hey, unfortunately they can't help you today. They gave you a number to call, but they're asking you to leave at this time, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was not having it. Oh my god! It was like, I am not leaving, like a child. Like, I am not leaving till I get my money, right? So, long story short, police was called, right? And when they come to the bank, they go hands on with the guy. They start dragging him out, and he's yep. They start dragging him out, and bank wants some trespass from the property, right?
Yep.
And I think there's no less lethal used or anything. It was just primarily them just dragging him out, right? Cussing up a storm, kicking his feet, and all that, right? But I would say that's probably one of the first instances where it was like really dealing with people that I guess you could call belligerent, right?
Yeah.
They're calling it people that weren't able to. A majority of people are accommodating. You tell them to leave, they'll leave, but they'll be mad, right?
Yeah.
But what happens when someone says no, right? And unfortunately, you have to call proper authorities to deal with that, because you can't really touch them. You can't go hands on. You can't. All you can do is ask them to leave, right?
Yep.
I would say that's the first introduction, as far as like seeing that in real time.
What were your thoughts like as the police arrived?
So, damn, I'm like, okay, my job here is done. Let me stand back. Let me let the experts do what they do, right? And that was really shocking because you seeing someone get dragged out. Was it worth it, right? For that person, right? Now you have no money and you're probably going to jail, right?
Yeah.
So double whammy with that. Yeah, but that I would say it was pretty shocking. I would say.
Any other good stories from the bank? Something that was good enough to make you either laugh or kind of like, ooh,
Yes,
pretty
yes,
cringe.
yes, yes. There is a not so good part of town, and I was working outside of inside a bank. Right, I was standing my post there. Didn't have a seating arrangement or podium to sit at, but just standing my post. Right, and there's someone that came in. They weren't homeless or anything, but they had the most egregious smell to them. The bank tellers noticed it immediately. I noticed it immediately, right? And it was filled the room to the point where you have the bank tellers covering their nose with their shirts, right, as they're helping this person. And as soon as the guy leaves, man, it was like the whole entire bank was just like, damn, did everybody smell that? Like, do you smell what I smell? And we're like, golly, bro. And then you got people bringing out the air freshener, like, damn, bro, that's not normal. That is the shocking part is he didn't look homeless, right? He had a hoodie on, sweatpants, but he wasn't like outside of your average Joe. I would say that's one of the funnier ones in terms of, because you got the whole bank, right?
Yeah.
And then in the bank setting, it's pretty cordial, it's pretty quiet, right? You got people conducting their business, and for everybody to stop what they're doing, all the tellers, right? You know, the other people that were in line, and all be like, God damn, it smelled horrendous in here, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy needs a shower, maybe like a detox or something. Yeah, but that's I would say that's one of the more funnier experiences at the bank for sure.
I remember a time, maybe about 2 years ago. We also had a case, the place where I worked at, where we had a pretty smelly guy come in. And this guy came in about once a week, and he was known to be a very, very smelly guy. Like, to the point that where it's not even body odor, it was straight up, oh, I just crapped myself, so I'm gonna walk in here. And I remember our front desk guard getting a hold of me, and he says, like, hey, Steve, these workers in here, these employees, really do not want this guy to come back. Can we please do something about the guy? I'm like, sorry, but we can't go off and like trespass anybody if they crap themselves. And I shit you not, within about probably about 30 minutes later, I give that guard his break, and that guy comes walking into the building. And as I see him walking past, I kind of look down. I look down on the ground. I'm like, what are these little pebbles here on the ground? They were maybe about like an inch, like big. I mean, these pebbles were not here before.
Yeah.
I look over. They're coming from the back of his pants. Just before he walks into the business where he's going to. I shit you not. He stops there for a moment, shakes his leg, and a big old clunk. Big old flop. It just flops right out.
Yeah.
He walks right in the bank, walks over, grabs a sucker, turns back around, and walks out.
Wow. So he only came there for a lollipop?
He only came there for a sucker, yes. He just walks right in, takes a crap everywhere, and takes a sucker and leaves. The worst crime of it all was once he got back into the hallway where the desk was at, he stepped on every single pebble, smearing everything.
He probably did that on purpose. I'm thinking about it like this.
I don't know, because this guy would come in a lot, and he was definitely elder. So he might have not been in his right mind enough, but it got to the point that where after that, we were kind of begging the company, please, just like, we gotta do something. But the company's like, nope, if he's giving us business, we're going to keep bringing him in. But admittedly, I think we stopped seeing the guy after about a month or two after that. So yeah, I definitely completely understand the whole the whole stinky story.
There's not much you can do about it. Just deal with it. And
kind of one of the things about being contracted is that if the client wants something, like if they say, we don't care if this person is causing you issues, we want to be able to do business with this person, then unfortunately with us being contract security, we have to oblige.
Yeah.
Do you have any more like good ones from the bank or like warehouse?
I do have one from a residential.
Now, residential, is that like an apartment? Like
Yeah, think luxury apartment
okay.
complexes, probably near downtown.
So like a skyscraper then.
I would say a plaza type of style. So they
Okay.
have their their parking garage attached to it. They have swimming pools within the residential apartments,
Okay.
and pretty modern amenities, right? Uh, and with the residential, it's probably the most money I've ever made hourly in security, right? So I'd say it was $22 an
Oh
hour.
wow.
Yeah, wow, like that's a decent sized paycheck. And full time, I was getting 40 hours off of that. No OT, but definitely 40 hours, which is a decent check there, right? It's luxury apartment complex, right? There's 3 of them, right? Location A, location B, and location C, right? All within a 5-minute drive of each other, right?
Okay.
And they're all under the same management, right? The same management had owned all 3 of these luxury apartment complexes, right? And we get contracted, right? This is a brand new contract, right? So we're there with the account managers. We're there with the people who install like the security tags across the site, probably a technician or something. And we're there, and we're going having an orientation day with the client, with the account managers, right? So there's a roughly 5 guard prospects that are there, including myself, 2 account managers, 1 tech that installs the security tags across all 3 luxury apartment locations, and the client. Right, we're in a golf cart type of setup, and we're traveling across. We're getting an introduction from the client about all the problems they're having at these locations, right? And with that being said, the orientation went smooth. They had a lot of amenities, right? I think toward the end we had a what's it called? We seen like a hot chocolate machine or a coffee machine there. One of the newer ones, I think from Starbucks, I guess. And yeah, really nice place, right? It was a driving post as well, right? So it's not like you're doing foot patrols. You're driving a vehicle, patrolling the property with the company vehicle across all 3 luxury apartment locations, right? And the reason, right, during orientation, they told us why we were there. So the guy's like, hey, have you ever, one of the account managers goes, hey, to the client, have you ever had any issues in the past, right? Of course, right? We've had almost 30 car break-ins within the last month. Ding, 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 right? That's why we were there, right? So we understood the problem, that why we were there, why they needed security, right? And everything had an access control, right? To get in the mailroom, you had a badge. To get into the pool room, you needed a badge. Everything was access controlled. But the issue was that cars kept getting not stolen, but broken into in the garages, right? You had people, that were just breaking the cars, grabbing wallets and stuff like that. And they did 30, I believe, in not 1 month, but 1 night. Right?
30 in 1 night.
30 in 1 night.
Wow. Okay.
So their primary concerns was putting us in the garage. That's why we had the vehicle to go all through the levels of the garage and check all the cars for broken glass on the floor. Primary concern, right? And that was my introduction to residential security, right? But as the weeks go on, right? This is, I think, summer 23 or 24, summer 23 for sure, right? As the summer goes on, right? We start to notice a few more things, right? So when we were at location A, location C would have a car break-in happen at it, right?
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't find out till the day later, right? Because when we're doing our patrols between the sites, right, there's a 5-minute drive in between, right? And we're required, as per the site policy, to do it probably once per shift, to visit all to all the sites, right? So equal time is not spent at each site. You might spend an hour at this site, an hour at the next one, an hour at the next one, and then go back to the site A, park the car at the garage, and shit, right?
Now, you said like all three sites are a 5-minute drive from each other.
Yep.
If you had to walk in on foot, how long would that be?
It's a great question. Probably a 25-minute,
Oh, wow.
20-minute walk.
Okay.
Right.
And that's
not including, probably including like, yeah, I would say 20, 25 right there.
So they aren't like super close to each other or anything.
Yeah, they're not.
Walking wise, they're not like. So
Yeah.
if you had to go from like site A to site C, how long do you think that walk?
We're talking an hour plus for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
I
So
wouldn't know how much, but hour plus for sure.
so definitely probably about a mile or
I
over
think
a mile.
way more than that, because
Okay.
you gotta understand, if you're going like 2.5 miles, and so one direction, and then another 2.5, and to the site C, which is the furthest away, right? It's a total of 5 miles right there, right?
Wow.
That's why we needed the car. It probably, yeah, it was couldn't do it on feet for sure.
Oh yeah, okay, definitely. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. Go ahead.
But yeah, the issue is car break-ins were huge, right?
Yeah.
And there was one day in particular I was working where I came in one night and there was a 2018 Honda Accord, white in color. It was, and the rims were gone. It was on bricks, cinder blocks, right? And that right there was like, wow, how was I supposed to stop this as a security guard, right? That's what I was thinking, right? Because I'm like, I'm spending time at all these different sites, right? And the way it would work was the tenant, whoever car that belonged to, would complain to the leasing office. The leasing office would then complain to the security company, and the security company would then complain to me or whoever was on shift for that day.
Yeah.
And I still think it was really a broken system, because, some things are like, how were you able to know that was going to happen or prevent that from happening when your time is split up between 3 sites, right? So even though you discover, okay, the car is broken into, you call EPD, they make the report, and you go from there, right?
Now, if I may ask,
Yeah.
were you the only one who was doing a patrol at that time for all 3 buildings?
During my shift, yep.
Okay, so relatively speaking, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it is physically impossible for you to be at any moment at any given time. One of the things that it's easy for someone to point behind the glass saying you shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Well, if you're covering 3 sites between 5 different miles, it's impossible for you to be at all 3 sites at the same exact time if something happens.
Yeah.
So, what this kind of sounded like to me, it was the fact that this company was brand new to security, and this was a huge oversight on the client themselves. So, this wasn't your fault. This situation would never be your fault. It's just the fact that you're the lone person on third shift having to do the 3 buildings between 5 miles. Don't take any of it to heart.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you did the job that they wanted you to do. So you did your job well, and you did your job exactly the way how you were told to do.
Yeah.
So regardless, something's going to happen regardless. I've seen sites that were like, like people would walk right beside security and steal something and walk right out.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for you to blame yourself on for this.
100%.
It's people will be people regardless. People will walk into a gun store full of gun owners and still try to rob the place.
Yeah. I actually ended up leaving that site, as school was coming to start. So semester starts, right?
Yep.
And I am like, I can't do this job here. Not quitting or anything, just a site wise, because imagine you clock in, you do what you're supposed to, you do your patrols, right? And then you probably a day or two later, you you get reprimanded because something happens at a different apartment building,
Yeah.
which was out of your control. Even though you might be able to observe and report it, that was I was like, I cannot be responsible for something that I personally have no control over,
Yeah.
right? And it was just the cycle of the tenants of the apartment building complaining to the leasing office, then complaining to the security company, then back to the guards, right? I offered a solution. I'm like, hire more guards, right? We want better coverage, cut the pay. Even though that $22 was nice at the time, right, for
Yeah.
a regular guard, but cut the pay, do your hire more people for each site, let them stay at their site, and if the client is willing to pay for all those extra guards there, at that point, I think you could be able to. You wouldn't even need a car. Yeah, I think you would be able to suffice with like a bike or something. Yeah, man, that was I want to say 2 months of residential experience there.
So it was residential parking. Rather than being inside dealing with tenants issues, you were just mainly doing patrols on the outside.
We did deal with tenants as well.
Oh,
More
okay.
so, somebody comes home drunk at 2 a.m. and they're causing up a storm, and they have like a lot of people in their house, and the neighbors call the site phone, and site get a hold of us and be like, people at unit 123 are making a lot of noise, right? Can you please talk to them, or make a complaint about them? So we'd go to them, talk to them, and this was a common occurrence through all the time that I was there. You'd have people report on homeless people that were in the trash can, a dumpster digging, and it just there was so many things to take into the account there that we couldn't just focus on what the client wanted, which was primarily the garages.
Mhm.
So it's all around security for the tenants as well, but as well as the primary focus on the garages there.
Okay. Now you mentioned about drunk people coming in, like drunk tenants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have any good ones about drunk tenants?
Primarily, it was just like people coming home drunk at like 2, 3 in the morning. But I would say no crazy things.
Now, can you tell me about how you got this job? Because I know with certain higher paying jobs for security, it requires you to either do something or take something like a test. Can you tell me a little bit about it? About how you got this job?
Actually, there was, I would say, a test involved, as well as I forgot the name, where you have to have a clean motor vehicles MVR,
okay.
Motor vehicle report, I guess. But
okay,
yeah, get a clean MVR going because the company has to ultimately pay for that, right?
All right there, Travis. I appreciate you coming on here.
Absolutely, I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Great conversation.
Do you have any last words or anything like that you would like to? God, saying last words sounds so terrible, though.
Yeah.
Do you have
your last meal?
Do you have any final words you'd like to say to our audience?
Say first episode, right? This is the first episode. Hopefully, many more to come after this.
Thank you, good sir. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening to the Come Chat Podcast, episode 1. We look forward to having you all listen more. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. Pretty short. I say this is probably at the 38, 39-minute mark. Mr. Travis, have yourself a good day. Everyone else, you too. Peace.
Subscribe to the Come Chat Podcast. Let's even guide you through the past. Sit down, lean in, don't you turn back. Hear the voices from Steven and the Come Chat Podcast. The factory hums a weary tune. Steel-toe boots beat under the moon. Steven leans in with a microphone to turn their whispers into stone. Classroom echoes fade away. Chalk dust memories start to play. cast becomes a chapter rich and